So talking about build-up and drops in general, a build-up is simply the area of a song where the energy of it increases and builds momentum towards a higher energy part of the track, usually the chorus, or a new verse, or a new chorus. There is always a drop after a build-up, and a drop means basically the kick bass dropping. This is where the kick bass starts again. We say it drops. It can be just a simple kick bass or a fully loaded chorus with leads and affixes. So I'll give you an example of a build-up in a track at the end of the second chorus of my track. Basically, in this one, what I'm using is a riser. So it's basically a noise pitched up that is giving this sense of energy building up before the explosion, before the drop. This is one of the many stuff you can use to give this sense of build-up. You can use reverse crashes or reverse elements to give this kind of feeling of being absorbed into something. So the three of them, it's like something is rising, and you're expecting something to happen at the end of the rise. And then this is where the drop happens. It can work with the high pass filter on the kick bass. So I could do it here with a filter and then copy it on the drums and the kick bass, basically. And then delete, deactivate it. This is also giving a feeling of rising, building an anticipation into something. But you can also do the inverse. That's often if you want to go into a more darker or deeper energy. It would be basically going from a high pass to a low pass. Then I can remove the riser. And the way you do build-ups change the feeling of people expecting the drop. It means that if you do a riser, it will often gives more energy to the people dancing. And if you do instead something that, for example, is a low pass or is suddenly muffling the sound and everything is going down, it will give a sense of, it will make it more introspective to people on the dance floor, I believe. So for example, here, everything is becoming muffled and people are like looking at each other and you know, it's like mysterious, suddenly no more highs, everything is really low and bassy. And then when the kick drops, the kick bass drops, everything is suddenly more mysterious instead of jumping funny or high energy or super motivating because of the simple build-up between the two sections. And that's how powerful a build-up can be. You can also do a drum roll, which is kind of similar to a riser. So it would be basically multiplying the snares or the kick into multiple repetition of itself until it drops. Drum, which is too much. That's the basic stuff you can do with the snares. You can do it with kick as well, multiplying the kick to a rolling kick into really short repetitions. It's like, again, one of the way to make people go nuts by repeating elements, like you know something is going to happen, something huge. So that's heightening the energy of a track. And what I like to do is also short drops, short build-ups between phrases. So for example, simply removing the bass between two phrases is giving a sense of reset, and it's kind of moving up the rhythm. It's like, oh, suddenly something is happening. You lose the bass and it drops again. So people are like, oh, I'm missing the bass in this kick. And suddenly you start another bass. It can work this way. It can work simply. It can work by removing the snares, but also by removing the bass after the first kick of phrase. This is really interesting to do because it shocks people. It's unexpected to not have a bass at the start of a phrase. So for example, it gives more rhythm, it gives again some more stuff happening, it shocks people, it's motivating for them. So there's many ways you can put short build-ups and short drops in the middle of sections to just heighten the energy of a track. You can multiply the kick, you can suddenly reverse the snare in one single beat. That's another way to add energy, and that's what we are looking for. Build-ups are meant to add energy, they are meant to add some more groove, some more stuff happening for people to stay hooked on the beat. As for drops, they are often the same one. Drops are just the reintroduction of the full kick and bass line after pulling them back. So you can use crashes. Often after a drop there's crashes because it gives more energies. You can add some one-shot elements. You can, like I said, remove the bass to shock people. It's like a fake drop, kind of. You don't want too much stuff happening because it might muddy the first kick bass. If for example here it's my first drop, I have a crash, I have a bunch of stuff. If I put too much elements, like if I put too much drums, if I put maybe this again, it's fine for now, but sometimes it can be too much, like it doesn't feel hitting. There's too much stuff happening, like way too much stuff happening. I have some delay, I have everything, and it doesn't make the drop as marking. Like people, the first thing they want to focus on when the kick bass disappears is the kick bass reappearing. So that's their main focus. Directly kick bass. You can hear it here. It's like a single bit, doesn't need to be much more. Or you can also actually make it a lot more. Like if you have a long break and there's not much stuff happening before, you can start your next choruses like you would start a verse. Like, yeah, literally just a kick bass. It's not a verse because there's way too much elements to be a verse and it's already in the middle of the track. But that's that's a way to again recenter the attention of the people onto the kick bass. Just It's just many little techniques to motivate people, to give them hooked on your track, and trends. That's how you tell a story that is catching and interesting. And after you've done all that, well, you can go on to the outro.